So we just want to talk to you a little bit, and we'll get this in and out, be on our way. Okay? Full name?
My full name is 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗦𝗪𝗔𝗬𝗪𝗪 Amato.
This is the interrogation of Grand Amato. Amato's father, mother, and brother were all found dead in their home on the 24th of January, 2019. Amato was found 2 days later and was brought into custody for questioning. According to Amato, this seemed to be the case of suicide murder committed by his brother. Now it's the job of the investigators to find out if these claims hold water, or if Amato is hiding something.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to watch anime.
Do you speak Japanese?
I was going to say, do you understand?
I don't. I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me, my brother, and one of my friends, or I guess friends from high school. We went to Japan from December 1st to December 15th.
How expensive was that trip?
I'd say it was probably about 10 grand total for like all the stays and whatnot.
For each one of you?
Yeah.
So we would go back?
Oh yeah, we would go back.
Really?
Yeah, I think we were actually planning on going back November of this year.
How long have you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months, since June.
How did you pay? That's a lot of money for to be out of work.
My brother.
Hobbies? What do you like to do?
Okay, so
besides the
anime. Besides that, we would play video games. We actually just got like a virtual reality.
So you guys play a lot of the PC games?
Yeah, we started getting into PC games. And actually, yeah, during the time that I was that I wasn't working as a nurse, I tried to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
It might seem weird to continue small talk like this, but it's a valuable tactic for getting details about the suspect's life, relations, and possible motivations. Small talk has the added benefit of building trust between the suspect and the investigators, which will make it more likely that Amato will open up about more details later on.
So you got a lot of computer knowledge?
A good amount, yeah. I mean,
more than the average person.
Yeah. I'm computer savvy. Yeah.
You have a computer at home? Good computer? I have
a gaming PC up in my room, and then there's another gaming PC downstairs that we just built for the VR specifically.
You guys built it?
Yeah. And then, but I mean, yeah, like my gaming PC, like we would buy all the parts and then we would put it together our own little way.
What would a good one cost you?
When I built mine, it was about $3 grand, and then the gaming one downstairs I think was $4,000 or like $4,500.
What other hobbies you have?
Besides that, a number of years ago, like me and my brother were actually like gun enthusiasts, and then during the time where like I was struggling, like in this last 6 months, I mean, I sold all of my guns.
Close with your brother Cody? Let's talk about Cody.
Oh yeah. Me and Cody had the quintessential rough, like, fighting each other and whatnot when we were younger.
The love-hate,
right.
Typical siblings.
But then I would say, like, my junior year of high school, we were all on the weightlifting team together. That's where I got to know a lot of, like, his guy friends. And, you know, we stopped, like, arguing at that point. And then we all, you know, we decided to go to nursing school together. We decided to go to the nurse anesthesia school together. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how else to really say it. A lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean,
a lot of people understand the bond of brothers. I mean,
yeah,
the true bond if you're close to your brother.
And I mean, during like this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just a few examples I've given you, he'd take care of everything for
Always
me.
there for you.
Yeah.
Always there to support you.
Always there.
Tell me about your mom.
My mom has, she's always been it's kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me.
Were you the baby? You were truly the family baby?
For my mom,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For my mom. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything.
Okay. Tell me about Dad.
Dad,
what does he do?
Dad's a pharmacist. Okay. He works for CVS.
Dad make good money?
I think he would tell me that he makes like between $110,000 and $120,000 a year.
Who was the disciplinarian in the family?
My dad.
And was he the one that decided Jason stays locked in?
Yeah.
What did Mom think about that?
Mom didn't approve of it, obviously, but back in that time, my dad was a very, like, angry, violent type person.
Overbearing?
Overbearing. But, I mean, that's, like, how he was, like, spankings with a 2x4. You know, he'd do that, and then he'd push you around. Like, he wouldn't punch you. He wouldn't bruise you.
When was the last time your dad put his hands on you?
The last time my dad put his hands on me would be kind of the middle of December of 2018.
What happened?
You know, and a lot of it just came back to money with him. He would like allow me to spend money that he had, like with his credit card or something like that. But it's like then whenever I did, it was like a huge problem.
Okay, so you had one of his credit cards.
Yeah.
And what were you buying with it?
Well, what I was doing is over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online. So a lot of the money went to her.
So how much do you think you spent on this?
Probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
This is where we really start to take a look at Amato's psychology. Earlier we heard Amato downplay his father's concerns, saying his dad seemed to only care about money. But looking at how Amato spent over $200,000 just to talk to some girl online, we can come to a few conclusions. First, Amato doesn't seem to have a full grasp on the value of his dad's money. Second, this suggests Amato has a lack of empathy for even his own family. That's not to say he's incapable of caring about them, but he doesn't seem to show concern about how this spending may affect their lives. Finally, this spending shows some signs of extreme loneliness and delusion to go this far for the feeling of having a girlfriend.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model. I was saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing.
But based on what you're telling me, only so many people make so much money. I think just a few in the country make a bunch of money.
Right.
So that was like the ultimate goal is to get to that.
I was hoping that the stars would align, and then I would be like one of those people because I was good at the games, and I'm a funny, pleasant person on the camera and that type of thing.
Amato is demonstrating here an inflated sense of self. He believes that he can become one of the few people on Twitch to make enough money to sustain this spending of his. While it's not impossible, it's the way he describes how funny and good at gaming he is that points to this kind of behavior, despite those only being a few details that can lead to success on a social media platform like Twitch.
It's like with him, it was every single day, hours a day. He'd come home from work and then he would just talk to me just about the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again.
When was the last time that you and your dad did have, a heated conversation?
It would be Thursday, because one of his rules was that I wasn't allowed to talk to the woman anymore. It wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. So he had apparently found out, and then
unhappy.
Right, and one of the stipulations was that he told me at the dinner was, if you speak to this woman again, you're out of the house. Like, I'm kicking you out. You can pack up your shit, and then you're off my property. So, on Thursday, that all happened, and then I was in the process. I was getting all my stuff together. I was piecemealing it out to the car. And then my brother was working that night, and I think he was working like one of his long nights, but he ended up getting off early. And then I had met with my brother before he came home, just like in the neighborhood area. He told me about all that. He had given me his debit so that, because I don't have any money and I don't know where to go. Mm-hmm. I'd never been out of the house on my own. And then the last thing that I was told was just that, basically once again that he'll take care of it because
this is Cody.
This is Cody.
What time is this approximately?
I'd say a little after 10:30ish at night. So
Thursday, you're home all day.
Yes.
With your mom. She works at home.
Correct. Yeah.
Your dad's at work. What's his normal work hours?
He got home at like 5:30. 5:30, 5:45, one of those two.
Where were you at when he came in?
I was just in there. I was just watching.
In the virtual reality where you said you had that set up?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just watching.
And that's in what room?
The living room.
The living room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just watching YouTube at that time, just like.
Did Dad talk to you?
Yeah, because he had. I don't know how he found out, but he had apparently found out, and then.
Found out what?
That I was talking to.
You were still talking
to the woman, yeah. And then he came in and then he asked me, why do you think we're about to have this conversation. And then he came out and he told me that I'd been doing that.
He had proof.
Yeah.
Have an argument?
Yeah. And then, you know, he got just, he had kind of reverted back to the way that he was when we were younger, where, you know, he kind of, you know, pulled me up from the couch, and then he was yelling at me to pack my shit up and just get out of the house.
And at this time, the argument with Dad is at what time?
6:30 or so.
6:30.
Yeah.
If it's 6:30, the argument started, how long do you think before you left?
I'd say like 9 or 9:30 or so.
Last time you saw your mom was what time?
When did I say that I met Cody? Or when Cody
exact time.
stopped by? It was like 45 minutes before that.
Okay, so
when Cody called the house, you said your mom told him about the argument.
Right.
When you left, you said you told your mom you were going to be in the area.
Right.
How then does Cody now know where to meet you, or if he's going to meet you?
Yeah, it's because that's when my mom had come out to where I said that I was going to be on that road somewhere.
So you and Cody meet.
Right.
And it's approximately what time? And I know it's not, I'm not holding you to the exact minute. What time do you think you met?
10:30. 10:30, something like that.
How long did you talk to him for?
Only about 10 minutes or so.
You had a conversation, and he leaves to go home?
Right.
And you leave to go where?
And then I stay in that general area just so that if anything happens, somebody like knows where I am.
Okay,
like
how long did you stay there?
I mean, like a couple hours, I would say.
Just
that same area where you were talking about?
Like, I would go, like, kind of just up and down that road a little bit, just at my cars and just, like, sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most, yeah, I mean, I was staying in that general area, and then I decided to go
to Publix.
This is where Amato locks in his story that he did not go back to his house on the night of the incident. He's giving specific details, probably to make his story sound more credible. But the downside to this is that if anything that he says can be disproven, his entire story could easily fall apart.
We've come and talked to you.
Okay.
You rode up here voluntarily with us to talk to us. Why do you think we're having this conversation?
I honestly don't know, but I'm pretty freaked out at this point.
Tell me what you think, because I can tell I've done this for a long, long time, and I read people, the way they act, and the way they talk to me, and the way they answer questions. There's something you want to tell us. I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your body language.
I'm just worried about what is all transpiring from this.
I think at this point right now, to be honest with you, Grant, you know what it is. Something that happened that caused you to defend yourself.
And I didn't do anything at the house besides get my stuff together and take it out to my car.
Remember, like I said, I know things that you don't know. And honesty will get you all the things I could do for you, to be honest. I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
right,
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what, believe it or not. That's just me, and she'll tell you, it's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because every one of us make mistakes and do things we shouldn't have done in the heat of the moment to protect ourselves or to protect somebody else. It happens.
Here we see the investigator using a common strategy where you make the suspect feel comfortable bringing up horrible activities by giving reasonable justifications for doing so. The idea is to make the subject feel comfortable and to get them to admit guilt no matter what the motive is, then work on the motive later.
When I had gone to the Panera, I searched for like top stories, Oviedo or Chuliote or something like that.
And found what? That
there was shootings in Salton Circle.
What was your thoughts when you reviewed that story?
I was freaking out, and I was just like blank. I didn't know what to do.
Now's the time. Now is the time.
So what do you think happened?
To be honest.
And here the investigator first urges Amato to come clean. The strategy here will be to put the idea in Amato's mind early on that admitting guilt will be best. That way, the idea can settle and grow in his mind throughout the interrogation, making Amato more likely to believe admitting guilt will be best.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened. I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like, what brought us to that home?
No.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails
I
from
mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Well, you need to help yourself by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything at all? Did he harm you, hit you,
No.
draw any weapons on you?
No, he didn't do anything like that.
The officers just gave Amato the chance to justify his actions. While refusing to admit guilt can often be the best strategy in an interrogation from the suspect's end, Amato says that there was nothing his father did to prompt being killed, which could make Amato look worse should he be found guilty.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah,
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
Despite the investigators' efforts, Amato is still asserting his original story. By this point, it's clear Amato won't admit guilt with the current strategy, and the investigators will need to change their strategy moving forward.
I mean, the only thing that I know is just that, I mean, I left the house later than what I had said.
did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No.
Because Amato kept asserting the same story, the investigators are being more direct, showing Amato his dead family to prompt a reaction. The idea is to break Amato down to get him to confess what he knows. In normal circumstances, this might be seen as a cruel tactic to use. The investigators will use a tactic like this only if they have significant evidence that shows their suspect is guilty and refusing to cooperate.
If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now.
Fact I know. She never held a gun. She didn't have a gun that night. Fact, he never fired a gun. Fact, he never fired a gun. Never did. This is the person right here, Mom, who always stuck up for you. Something happened so bad that caused her death, your dad's death, and Cody. And I'll tell you just about how it happened. 1, 2, 3.
Amato doesn't usually look up toward the investigators as suddenly he does here. This abnormal behavior suggests he was told something very alarming. The forensic evidence has already proved what order the family was killed in, and Amato is realizing that he's close to getting caught.
Based on evidence, I know he did not shoot your mom. I know he didn't shoot your dad. I know he didn't shoot himself. And I know from video surveillance camera in the neighborhood, nobody else came to that house.
The investigators are now bringing up more of the evidence they have on Amato to keep pressuring him into a confession. Amato is in a position where he really should admit guilt, because it's only going to get worse for him if he doesn't.
It will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Of course you're going to be somewhat dishonest at some point. We get that. We understand that. But at some point when you have that come to Jesus time that now I need to really, I got to tell you what happened. This is it.
This is a key moment. Most guilty suspects, and even some innocent ones, will lie early on in the investigation, and even if they want to tell the truth later, they may feel pressure to keep their story consistent. The investigators need to reassure the suspects and make them know it's always best to come forward to tell the truth.
There's nothing else that I can say.
Then this is not going to end up the way you want to with what you're telling me right now.
If you find yourself here, never deny evidence. And Amato has made his decision. No matter what the investigators try, he refuses to admit his guilt. The investigators are practically telling him to tell the truth because they know what happened. And thus, this is a common interrogation tactic. They are right. Considering the present circumstances, Amato should consider being cooperative to help minimize his sentence.
There's nothing else that happened in that home while you were there that would lead up to this?
No.
Your father didn't point a gun at you?
There was nothing else more than what I said. You know, the only thing that I have is just the times in which I had left the house. There was an argument when Cody had gotten home, and then there was nothing that he could do to help me. So I don't remember the exact time when I actually left, but I had left later than what I had said.
So you were home when Cody got home?
Yes.
Tell us about that. What time did he get home, and why did he come home?
I mean, he got home at 10:30. I still think that's when he got home, was like around 10:30.
And what was going on at the house when he arrived?
My dad and my mom were arguing, and then I was still just packing up all my stuff. And then when Cody got home, he started to transgress with my dad, and I was still kind of just staying out of it and doing my own thing. And then the end result was still the end result, and then I had to still leave.
And then, so is it true that you still met Cody up the block, or was that?
No.
So you didn't meet him up the block? So then, now let's start from the time you and your father started having the argument. About 6:30, you said, when he got home?
Yeah.
Tell us exactly what happened from that time on, even what was said.
I mean, it was just a lot of yelling. I mean, it was everything that he had been telling me for the past months and months and months about just how I had ruined his retirement and how I had pushed him back, and now, you know, he'd never be able to do the things that he wanted to do.
And he's yelling.
Yeah.
He's heated. Are you yelling back at him?
No.
And are you sitting on the couch downstairs, like you said?
I was in the living room, yeah.
And at what point does he put his hands on you?
It's just that, I mean, it's like maybe 5 minutes into the conversation.
What was your reaction when he grabbed your shirt and pulled you up?
I didn't fight back or anything like that. I just tried to get my grounding, and then we were just standing, and then after that, I started the whole process of gathering everything.
And where's your mom at this point?
She was still in her office.
Did she intervene at all?
She had gotten up to say that, you know, you need to settle down, or you know, some sort of diffusing statement that she always used to make. And then my dad yelled at her to stay out of this.
Okay, and then what? What happened next?
It was just a lot of yelling and confrontation between me and Dad, but it wasn't anything more physical about it.
And how long did that go on before Cody shows up?
I mean, that was for 4 hours or something like that.
Was your father wearing this?
Yeah.
And what about that gun on his waist?
No.
He didn't have that on?
No.
Is this normal?
No.
This is the person that is coming to solve the problems for you, or came home to solve the problems. He shouts the second he walks in the house.
Where are you when he comes home?
When he came home, I was gathering some of the power bars into my little shoulder satchel thing.
And where are the power bars, in the kitchen, or?
In the kitchen.
So you see him come in?
I hear the door, but then that's it.
And then when do you see him physically?
I see him when he walks into the kitchen.
And what is said?
He asks me what I'm doing, and I basically tell him the quick, short story. So then after talking about that, he says that he'll take care of it, and then him and my dad, they're the ones that always yell and raise their voices and everything like that.
So did your dad eventually enter the kitchen, or did Cody go to your dad in the office?
No, my dad came in when he heard that me and Cody were talking. And then, he came around to the base of the staircase, and then he told me that I need to go. I don't know what time I actually left, but I think it was closer to midnight or something.
And when you left, where was your mother?
When I left, my mom was still just in her office.
And where was your dad?
Dad and Cody were just yelling inside the kitchen. So then after I left, I took the Fort Christmas Road that connected up with 50. And then I was just at the Publix for the rest of the time.
And then is everything else the truth as far as the job interview and so on and so forth?
All the rest of the times.
So when did you learn that your family was dead?
I knew when you guys told me.
So I believe this, and this happened while you were still present in the house. And for whatever reason, you don't want to tell us.
No, I mean, I had left when I had said that I had left.
We pulled financial records from your dad, you, Cody, and your mom. Remember that payment you made?
Which?
The payment on that bill you had?
The $599.99.
I saw that one. Well, guess what got paid right about the same time?
What?
$33,000 of debt was paid off of his credit card. Same time. Within a very short time of each other. Those things go together. The records show what was happening.
Wait, what happened?
$33,000 on, I think your dad, it was a USAA credit card. He had $33,000 was paid.
Amato is now giving very passive responses. He realizes there's a good chance that this evidence will be discovered. Amato still denies it, but instead of giving a definitive no, he gives this unsure answer because he can't confidently deny it.
I just don't know where else to go to get you to come around, because it does not make any logistical sense of what you're telling us. I'm telling you, look at everything. He walked in the door, shot them, and he walked in the door. Because right down here is a bag he carries in. Dropped right there where he opened the door, walked in, and gets shot. There's Dad's lunchbox right there. Dad came home, was probably messing with it right around here. Arguments, whatever's going on, whether there was even an argument. Dad gets shot, and he drops right here. And most likely either got pulled or crawled over here. Over here. I wonder what DNA is going to be in that blood right there. Your DNA going to be found on his pants?
No.
You sure? There may be something, a question I'm asking I already know the answer to.
I know, but my DNA shouldn't be on his pants.
Shouldn't?
Again, Amato gives a passive answer because he realizes the evidence is going to be found. He even catches himself changing the word wouldn't to shouldn't, to give himself plausible deniability in case it was found. We can also hear from the investigator's tone that they aren't going to get any more information out of Amato. This is essentially the end of the interview.
Explain to me, I just need you to tell me, why the minute he walks in, he gets shot.
I don't have the answer for anything else.
Okay. This is the last time before I'm going to walk out now, and then I'm done. Then I'm done for good. When I'm done, I'm done.
This concludes the first interrogation with Grant Amato. The investigators did their best, and they used a variety of strategies in the process, but they couldn't get a confession out of Amato. This happens regularly, and it only means there will be more work that needs to be done later in the prosecution. Still, they got some background information as well as the likely motive for the murder, Amato being kicked out of the house. This gives the investigators some direction moving forward in the case. Next, we'll see the interview between Amato and his other brother. The hope is that Amato will be more willing to connect and open up about this situation with a family member he previously said he was close to.
Alright, so I take it you know what happened. I'm going to ask you plain out. You are not part of it anyway.
No.
So you didn't have any problems or troubles with this woman or the online? You didn't owe him any money?
No,
I mean, there's no like loan shark out looking for you or...
No.
I mean, I just don't see how things aren't adding up. I want to believe you, Grant, but you're the last person that I could put in that house. And I know what happened over the last 6 months. Who else can I blame? How are we going to find out who did this? I know Dad was an asshole. I know Cody was an asshole. But they were our family. And they would have never done anything to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
The shit you did, you could have been in jail. You would have been in jail for years.
Mm-hmm.
And they covered it up for you. I have a feeling the FBI is already involved because no matter how much Dad can overcome the money laundering, That's money that was moved.
You know, I know what I did to everybody over the months and everything like that.
I know you did.
And I know that you know the hell of dealing with it every single day when you're trying to move forward.
Yep.
Dad, Cody, and all that stuff.
Yep, and I understand it was probably harder for you because you lived in the house. I had the option of getting out. Grant, I need you to be honest with me, man. I need to have closure. I don't feel like we're getting anywhere, and I'm going to be honest, I don't feel comfortable with you staying with me. I mean, if in a week or a couple of days or 12 hours and something else is discovered, then I might have a change of heart, but I have no other options in my head of what's going on, especially if you're confirming that there's nobody looking for you. The morgue called me this morning, so I have to make decisions for Mom, Cody, and Dad in the next couple of days. So just letting you know that I'll be making those decisions, because until I'm given verifiable information that you did not do it, I don't think you have the right to make that decision. You already made the decision on whether or not they can live or not. That's not your job. Alright, I'm ready. I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
It's not spoken, but Amato's brother seems to take this as a very passive form of confirmation. He will later leave, seemingly getting the closure he wanted from this interview.